Hey, and welcome back to another episode of EMA's Artist Q&As. We are here with Dent, who's one of our teachers, but also a fantastic musician playing in a band called Albi and the Wolves, as well as playing for a lot of other people around Auckland and New Zealand. So thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, thank you so very much.
We're going to have a yarn about your music and your teachings and all that good stuff.
So, first question, what is your first music memory?
My first memory was a fellow called David Wilcox. He was this American singer-songwriter who performed at the Auckland Folk Festival. And I remember being swept away with his ability to play the guitar and tell stories. And it's like they became one. And it really defined how I wanted to be as a performer. Like, I knew straight away that I wanted to do that thing. And we bought a CD and played it a lot. And no one knows who he is. I don't know if many people know about him even in the States, but that was a really informative moment for me.
When did you first learn an instrument?
So, like many students here at EMA, my parents encouraged me to play. I'd sung, apparently, since I was 3 years old. So technically that counts as the first thing, but my folks encouraged me to play the piano, which I did for quite a few years. And then I chucked all that out and played guitar when I was 13 or 11 or something.
Yeah,
Live
cool.
life. Still doing it. Boom.
What drove you to practice and play when you first started out?
I thought this was a really funny question because what drove me to practice? Nothing. I was rubbish.
Great.
Like, I know that that's not what you're supposed to say, but it just wasn't great. If I can add a small thing here, I practice all the time now and love it. It took me a long time to really realize how important that was. But what drove me to play, I just like performing in front of people, I think.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You have had great success with your band Albi and the Wolves. How did the three of you come together to form the band?
Okie doke. So how concisely do I say this? Originally we weren't a 3-piece, we were a 4-piece.
Right.
So I met this, I moved to Auckland actually, so I grew up in a little country town and I kind of messed around for a bit and I came back to Auckland and I moved into this house and through that I met this crazy banjo player guy. And he was so excited about music and so passionate. He was like, I want to make a band with you. And I was kind of like, I don't know. But we ended up writing some songs and things. We're ticking along. And I knew this guy, Michael Young, who played double bass. I've known him since I was like 5 through the folk circuit. And Matt knew Pascal Rogan. And so we got together. There was like an infamous tour where we played 3 towns. We got a double bass into a Toyota Corolla. That's all I'm saying.
Cool.
And yeah, after that, things just sort of steamrolled. There have been many highs and lows of this band, but that's, yeah, basically I knew a guy and he knew a guy and we made sounds together and they felt good. Yeah.
There you go. So if you see a guy or a girl at jam night, make a band.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's literally what it takes. And you'll know. You'll know.
I'm sure you have countless memories with the band, but what would be your top 3?
Oh, good
Only
question.
3. Who wrote the questions?
Look, well, I think it's good because as you viewers may have noticed, I can yarn for a long time. So top 3, WOMAD was an incredible show to play. I've played lots and lots of gigs, but there haven't been too many where there's like a casual 5,000 people going absolutely hard. That was quite unlike anything else. And what really stands out about that show is when you're frontmanning a gig and you've shaped the set, you kind of feel a little bit like you're driving a car and you can accelerate with the audience and get them hyped up and bring them down. But I guess the horsepower is equivalent to how many people are there, and so imagine how much energy you have when there's 5,000 of them.
That's amazing.
That's a whole thing. So that was amazing. And then on the flip side, an incredible experience was playing a gig to like 70 people on Stewart Island.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah, there are 300 residents on Stewart Island. And so we played to nearly a third of the population.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
That's amazing. And you guys go to Stewart Island.
Yeah. We went on a ferry. It was so ruckus.
Yeah.
It was so ruckus. They went so hard. It was amazing, and it was a real sorry ferry back home in the morning.
Yeah.
And then lucky last, I got to fly to Canada, and I got to play the Folk Alliance International Conference. So music conferences, if you guys don't know, you go and you basically sell your band. You try to get a tour manager or a manager or to play festivals. And so 2,000 artists descended upon this giant hotel complex.
Yeah.
There was music on every floor in every room. And the official showcases happened during the day. The unofficial ones happened at night. And so I was playing at like 1 a.m. to like 4 people in a hotel room trying to sell this act.
Because you never know who the 4 people are.
Absolutely not. That was... it's hard to articulate, but amazing.
Yeah, that's
so
cool.
How do you approach songwriting with the band?
I do a lot of the creation in the first instance. I like to think that I build the frame of the house, and then those guys come along and populate it. Every now and then, I come with a song idea, and they're like, "That's great, we're fine, let's play it." And sometimes they say, "Man, love that line."
Not sure about the rest of it.
Yeah, and so discard that. But I guess I usually come up with an idea. Every now and then one of the others may. But and Michael's written a couple songs that we perform, but more often than not, I tinker away, and then we get in a room and we pull it apart, line from line. Sometimes they stay the same, sometimes they don't.
Cool.
But yeah.
You're about to embark on a nationwide tour of New Zealand to support your new record. What advice do you have for musicians looking to book their own shows and tours?
Ooh, spreadsheet's your best friend.
Okay.
Yeah, just you think of anything that you might possibly need to think of before you do anything, and just write it down. So like, will I need flights? Will I need accommodation? How long is it going to take to get to this place? Write a checklist, and then make sure that you check it off. I think that's the main thing. And then persistence. Lots of venues aren't going to even reply to you, which feels strange because New Zealand's such a small place, but it, just happens. Yeah. So whatever city you want to go to, make sure that you've got multiple options, hit all of them, and hopefully one of them works out, or one of them works out with the date that you want. And try swing for festivals or big gigs like 6 months in advance, and then anchor the rest of your tour around them, because for whatever reason, if the shows don't go great, which they might not, you can still cover your bills, and it's not going to be stressful.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess like booking your own shows is like checking venue sizes. Like you don't want to book a theatre if it's your first tour, potentially.
Thinking about that. Yeah. But I mean, I guess that's the checklist, right? Like, how many people do I think I'm going to get in this town? I'd say if you try find places that are 50 people and just go and do that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good goal.
Nice one. You are a fantastic performer, and this comes across in both your teaching style and your role as the choir director here at the Grafton campus. In this room on a Tuesday night, 7 p.m. 7:30 p.m. Sorry. What is it that drew you to teaching?
This is a really interesting question. Kind of like my unconventional answer to the practicing question. I kind of just filled a space that needed filling at first. So I was at brunch and some friends needed a piano teacher for their business. And I had lived purely off performance for about 7-8 years. And through COVID, that was fine. And I still managed to pay my rent, but it was kind of crazy. And like, I'm getting a little bit older. And I was like, I'd like to try this different pace. So I went down and I did some teaching. And then I realized that I loved it. Yeah. But the job came first and then the love. And then when I realized that it's just about conversation, it's about understanding a student and finding a way to explain the thing so it gets out of your head and into theirs in a way that makes sense. I found that process just really, really satisfying. But I don't know. I gave it a go and then found that I loved it.
Yeah, cool. I'm the exact same way.
There you
Someone needed a drum teacher.
Yeah.
Now here we are.
Yeah.
Cool.
What advice do you have for anyone looking to make a full-time career in music?
So this is I thought about this one, and the main thing that came to mind was understand that it's going to take a real long time, and plan for that. So what I see an awful lot of people do is they're like, I'm going to go full-time, I'm going to quit my job, or I'm going to go straight from school, I'm going to go into full-time. And I think that's really admirable, but I also think that you just shouldn't do that. Find the reason I say that is if you find a part-time job where you're working 2-3 days a week, you got 2 whole days to do your music thing, and that is going to be the way to build a sustainable career. And I think if you go on with the mindset of, cool, what's the next logical step? Great, I've got a bunch of work, I'm going to drop this job down to 2 days or 1 day, you'll make something really healthy. So 1, understand that it's going to take a lot of work and it's going to take a long time, but 2, also just, I don't know, give yourself space to breathe and create and make things, and yeah, you don't have to rush. It's okay.
Who are your top 3 musical heroes?
Okay. So I thought long and hard about this. The first one that comes to mind is a guy I used to be in a band with called Zarek Silverschmidt. I've always found him to be someone that I admire because he's the most hideout guy that I know. Like, he plays guitar, but his routine, he practiced for 6 hours a day. And I knew that was never ever going to be me. But I knew that if I aspired to be like him, I'd be 110% better than I am right now.
Yeah.
So he's amazing. His drive and passion for music is like nothing else.
Yeah.
The next guy I want to mention is a man called Adam McGrath. He's a Kiwi folk musician from a band called The Eastern.
Yep.
And if you think I can tell a yarn, you have to go to one of his shows. In 45 minutes, he might only play 3 or 4 or 5 songs, and the rest are just these amazing stories. And so I was blown away by him when I saw him play live.
That makes sense. I love the Eastern. That makes total sense.
And I just, I'm like, I want to be like that guy. It's like he's holding a sermon at his shows.
Oh, wow.
It's Elliot. You've got to see him. And then the third artist I'd like to mention is an Australian cellist and vocalist called Monique Claire. There aren't many shows that I've been to where I have been so overcome with emotion that I've like teared up or just been so captivated by her journey. She plays the cello gorgeously. Her vocal tone is like, she's a singer I want to be. And yeah, amazing performer. So every time I'm at a folk festival with her, wrapped, I'm just there with her. She's great.
What have you got on at the moment? What do you want to plug?
Well, handy dandy. I've got a record coming out on the 13th of October with my band Albi and the Wolves, and we are touring. We're doing 3 shows only with a 11-piece band, which is a wild thing. Horns, trumpet, sax, trombone, the whole thing. And yeah, it's going to be a very special show, 11th of November for Auckland at Galtos.
Yay.
Cool.
Amazing.
Thanks, Chris. Bye, team.
In the light after